Area 51 is about 150 miles outside of Las Vegas. We're on our way there now on a highway actually called the Extraterrestrial Highway. And this is a route that George has taken dozens and dozens of times over his career. It's not exactly an easy place to find. You can't just Google Area 51 and figure out where the entrances are. You sort of have to know what to look for. Okay, so we made it out here to Area 51. It is so eerie and quiet out here. We had to go down this long, windy dirt road off the main drag, the Extraterrestrial Highway, to get out here to the entrance. You really cannot get very close. Behind me, about a quarter of a mile, is one of the guarded entrances. There's barbed wire, there's armed guards there. We're pretty sure that they definitely know we're here. Trip after trip through the Nevada desert, George broadcasted the closest photos we've ever seen of Area 51.
These photos, never before shown in public, are about as close as anyone will ever come to seeing what the place looks like again. The dry bed of Groom Lake, corrugated metal buildings, a 3-mile-long runway, and some highly sophisticated radar and detection equipment. It's been known by many names over the years: Dreamland, the Ranch, the Skunk Works. If ever there was a place to test a secret new technology, this is it. And that's exactly what's been done here for decades. Area 51 is where Francis Gary Powers and the other U-2 pilots were trained in the 50s, and where the U-2 itself was developed. The SR-71 spy planes that spotted Soviet missiles in Cuba in the early 60s were also developed at 51. 51 is where stealth technology was nurtured, where Star Wars devices are still tested, and where all manner of CIA monkey business has been plotted and refined. The CIA built it for use in the U-2 program. This is rare footage taken from Groom Lake of some early tests. Current warning signs indicate it's an Air Force facility, but all branches of the military have used it, along with most major defense contractors. The common thread has always been EG&G, which has had the contract to operate the facility since the beginning. What goes on there today? Plenty. Highly placed sources say the base employs about 1,800 people. One of their main missions is to evaluate Russian defense systems, equipment that's in the hands of unfriendly nations like Iran and Iraq. Another program at 51 is the stealth helicopter, although the technology isn't far along. As for flying saucers, the military admits it has built these unmanned craft. It may not be a coincidence that the Air Force's only unmanned aerial vehicle squadron is based at Nellis. Whatever's flying around out there still attracts visitors from all over the world. It's still newsworthy in Europe?
Yes. No, also in Europe, Area 51 is well known.
And this is all closed off, this whole area?
Yeah, it's a secure facility. I mean, they would used to occasionally have tours out there, but it's kind of hard to get in there now. So,
do people live out there at all, or are they all commuted?
They have a little town where people will stay for a short period of time.
Our report set off a UFO stampede that is yet to diminish. Tens of thousands of people have trekked into the desert hoping to see a UFO, inspiring the Extraterrestrial Highway and creating a new industry for Tiny Rachel, which has become a UFO merchandise center and a hub for saucer watchers.
It probably peaked in '97, coinciding with the 50th anniversary of Roswell, because we had media out here every day.
The hype has been good to Rachel, but has given the military fits. Their secret base was no longer secret, and security officers had numerous run-ins over the years with over-exuberant alien hunters who crossed the line or came close to it. Base security resorted to high-tech spy gear, even low-flying choppers, to keep the saucer nuts out.
There's really nothing out here. It's very, very remote surrounding Area 51. Now, we've heard stories that people have actually found surveillance equipment in the brush out here. The only strange thing that we've seen is there's this black wire that runs all along the perimeter road outside the base. George first revealed the lengths the government appeared to be taking to keep Area 51 a guarded secret, profiling a citizen whistleblower on a mission to expose it.
I found 31 or 32 of them so far.
Retired astronomer and desert rat Chuck Clark has a new hobby. He's prowled the hills and deserts of Lincoln County for several years now. Over the past few months, he's discovered the military has been installing secret sensors on public land surrounding the base. Using a frequency counter, he can tell when his vehicle has tripped the sensor. When that happens, he looks for the hard-to-spot wire atop the device.
This is our sensor right here.
Then he digs them up, takes pictures, and puts them back.
There's your transmitter right there. And we'll come around here. And right here will be the time delay unit. And you'll see it's clearly marked U.S. government property.
Clark isn't a terrorist or spy, but is angered that hikers, four-wheelers, or photographers, anyone who uses the backcountry, is being monitored by the military on public land, miles from the boundary of the base, a boundary which is clearly marked by ominous signs.
It's a little overkill in my opinion. They have about a 25-mile buffer zone out here, and it's all terrain like this. It gets rougher as you go. Why they have to put stuff outside the line, it escapes me.
During the I-Team's visit last week, 2 sensors were located, and base security wrote down the plate numbers of our vehicles. We returned 5 days ago and drove to the rear entrance of Area 51. 3 days after our visit, FBI agents working with Air Force Intelligence and the Joint Terrorism Task Force raided Clark's home in Rachel and seized photos, records, and his computer. Is it legal for anyone to touch military sensors hidden on public land? The government doesn't think so, although Clark hasn't been charged with anything. Is the military trying to silence this outback gadfly?
And they're sort of paranoid about this location, and I don't see why.
After those stories, Area 51 was changed forever. It created so many headaches for the camo dudes and the people that patrol Area 51 and try to keep the public out.
The so-called camo dudes have assumed legendary status. Oddly, despite all the security headaches, the alien lore has seemingly been embraced by the military. Base personnel are regular customers at the Ailey Inn.
I let them come here and have a quiet time. I don't try and get into their own personal stuff. I don't want that, because if we started to pry, they'd back away.
Yeah, a lot of the patches and caps and things, probably half the guys on the base out there have them. We know guys that work there that have come in and bought things to take out there because they don't have any official things.
Since those stories, tens of thousands of people have beaten a path out there to look around in the sky and to see whatever is flying around, UFOs or secret planes. Every major news organization in the world has beaten a path to Area 51's door. A lot of them made fun of me and fun of the whole alien scenario, but they've all been out there. It's one thing to make fun of our stories about Area 51, but you've never been out there sitting in the desert night after night as we've done. You haven't interviewed the witnesses. You haven't dodged the security guards and coyotes and filed the FOIA request. You haven't done it.
Coming up,